Page there. The morning show on a Thursday morning. If you've any comments on any of the stories we're covering this morning, text us here on 087 77 11 103, or you can call the show on 0818 303 103. Now, the Charlesland Youth Planning Team in Greystones are holding a series of focus groups in February to talk to teenagers and interested parents to find out what kind of facility they would like to see in the area over the coming years. To tell us more about the focus groups, on the line, Social Democrat Councillor Jennifer Whitmore. Good morning, Jennifer.
Morning, guys. The line is very bad. I can't quite hear you.
Can you hear me now?
I can. That's better, yeah.
Okay. Tell me about first of all, the need, as you see it, for more activities for teenagers in Charlesland.
Yeah, just for your listeners, if they're not aware of Charlesland it's a very big estate. Just on the in Greystones, there's approximately 1,500 houses and apartments there. And it's a young estate with a lot of young families, and it's it's really finding its feet as a community at the moment. And there is a lot of young children in the estate. There will be a lot of children around the ages of 4 and 5. But no one was really certain of the exact extent and the exact numbers of children that were there. So late last year, myself and the Charlesland Youth Planning Team, we went out and we conducted a survey of the estate. And what we did was we went to each of the houses. We went to 500 houses, and we asked, are there children living here? And if there is, how old are they? And from that data, then, we could see that actually there was 400 children in the houses that we had visited, and over 200 of those children would be between the ages of 5 and 10 years of age. Now, that means that in 5 years' time, they will all be teenagers. And you have to remember that we only visited a third of the houses in Charlesland. So there is a lot of children in the area. And at the moment, there's a playground there. There's a community centre that's really used for I suppose classes, sports classes, fitness classes, that sort of thing. But there really isn't anything for teenagers. And we do have a lead-in time now before those children grow into teenagers. So now is the time to start planning to make sure that we have the facilities that they're going to need in 5 years' time.
Are we talking here about the generation? I mean, we probably saw population growth and a baby boom over the past decade and a half. That generation coming of age, really?
Yeah, I think so, and I think as well because Charlesland it was a new estate, and really a new estate you do tend to get a lot of young families coming in. So I think there's just that it's just a function of that as well. There's a lot of young children in the area. So,
what do you hope to achieve by these focus groups?
Well, so the first stage of trying to identify the need for a youth centre there was the survey. Our next stage now is to hold some focus groups to talk to both parents and any of the current teenagers that are in Charlesland to see exactly what type of facility they would like to have. There's really no point in pushing for a facility if the teenagers aren't going to use it. So that's the primary focus of these consultation sessions, I suppose, that we're holding, just to find out exactly what people want.
And Charlesland, of course, has grown pretty rapidly, hasn't it, over the past decade?
It has. I must say now, it's turning into a fabulous community. We have a neighbourhood watch scheme going there that's really pulling everyone together. Last year, some of the residents held a soccer camp for the young children. There was a multicultural day. So the community, it's growing, and but really it's starting to form really strong bonds, and it's really lovely to see. And it's actually that community spirit that's really helping us move this along, because we had an awful lot of support for our survey and a lot of support for the youth centre. So, it is really nice to see that within the estate.
What sort of feedback are you getting from teenagers themselves?
Well, we've had limited so far. I mean, the focus groups will be really where we will sit down and talk to them. I mean, the parents in the estate are very, very keen to see something there. There wouldn't be a huge amount of teenagers in Charlesland at the moment. The main age group would really be between 5 and 10, and the parents of those children are very keen to see something, because they recognise that there's going to has to be something there for the teenagers to do. At the moment, we have the sports centre, which is across the road. It's actually across quite a busy road, and to be honest, as a parent of a 10-year-old myself, I wouldn't feel comfortable with them crossing that road. So there is limited activities within the estate itself. There's quite a bit of development that's coming online for the Charlesland area, actually, and I've put in an objection to that development on the basis that these youth facilities aren't there at the moment, and I really do think that should be part of any future plans for the area.
How well catered for are teenagers in general in the Greystones area?
In Greystones, does it?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, look, to be honest, if teenagers are interested in sports, there is a huge amount for them to do. You know, Greystones has a huge amount of really, really fantastic sports clubs. I think if teenagers aren't interested in sports, it's a lot more limited. I held a consultation day with transition year students in St. David's a few years ago, and when they were asked, you know, what could you have in Greystones, you know, if you could wave a magic wand, what would you have? And they said a Subway or a McDonald's, and I really couldn't understand it. But talking it through with them, they wanted somewhere where they could hang out, and the only places that they felt they wouldn't get kicked out of was somewhere like a Subway. So I think that's a real, I suppose, indictment of the fact that there isn't the facilities there. Now, I know Cllr in Greystones is actually fundraising at the moment to set up a youth cafe, which would be a fantastic addition to the town. So hopefully we'll see that coming on stream over the next, year, and that will certainly assist in giving teenagers in the main part of the town, somewhere just to hang out, because I think that's really a lot of the time what teens want to do. They just want to hang out and chat with their friends,
And if teens or adults want to get involved in your process, how do they do that, Jennifer?
Well, what we would love is if there's any teenagers in Charlesland that would like to come and have a chat with us, and also the parents, we will be holding the focus groups on the 24th of February in the Charlesland Community Centre. So that's the third floor above the Childcare Centre there in Charlesland, and we'll be starting at 7 p.m. But if they just want to email me at whitmore.jennifer@gmail.com, and I'll get back to them with the details. But I think it's really important that we get as many people involved in this process, and hear from as many voices as possible, because really we need to make sure that we get this right for everyone.
Okay, Jennifer, thanks for joining us this morning. Jennifer Whitmore, talking about plans there for more youth activities in the Charlesland area. We'll be talking to the holiday doctor in a moment.